You know, I think the greatest thing about the NHL is every year it's different. Dude, I know! Like, when was the last time a young first overall pick from Halifax came back in the first full season after an NHL lockout to a once strong team that was now struggling and then made them good again? Woo! Are you just gonna get hammered? Get me a toaster. Magic Angel Robot from Winnipeg!
What the hell are you talking about?
This team is ruining my life! It was Crosby. I was talking about okay. Get to know the place we're from. We're from Halifax. We're from Halifax. Going there for my bachelor party soon. Because when you think bachelor party, you go Nova Scotia. Anyway, 3 games last night. Let's start with Colorado, Minnesota. The Colorado Avalanche win 4-2 over the Minnesota Wild and take a 2-0 series lead. Nathan MacKinnon following up a 3-point performance in Game 1 with a 4-point performance in Game 2. 7 points through his first 2 NHL playoff games. The kid has another gear. We kind of saw it in the Memorial Cup final. A lot of people talking, oh, who will go first overall? Should it be Nathan MacKinnon or should it be Seth Jones? Well, Seth Jones is a hell of a player and any team would be lucky to have him. Nashville's lucky to have him. It's one thing to be an NHL player as an 18-year-old. It's another to be an NHL defenseman. That is so rare. But Memorial Cup final, MacKinnon versus Jones, MacKinnon was unstoppable. And guess what? Playoffs again, next level, unstoppable. And let me just say, I don't want to poke any holes in Colorado. Like, a lot of people are pointing out the Avs' flaws, and you know what? They're obvious, and you're right. But I think back to the Leafs season, and they had obvious flaws, and I look at Colorado, and I'm just like, but they're having so much fun. Just let them have their fun. They obviously have some defensive issues. They're obviously getting a very lovely shooting percentage right now, and a very lovely save percentage. There's a lot of things that will eventually come back down to earth, but they haven't yet. And in the meantime, this is so much fun to watch. And while I don't want to cheat Colorado Avalanche fans, I feel terrible for Minnesota Wild fans. Because I don't really think that team is anything particularly special, but they're not bad. And people forget early in the season, Josh Harding was on some like crazy Super Saiyan goaltending. Just stopping pucks anime style. Powering up every game. Piccolo, power up! Go on, we need you! Harding, go! And now they have Ilya Bryzgalov, who, if we're talking about Dragon Ball Z analogies, is much more like Krillin. Oh, you're fun and we love you, but when shit hits the fan, just no. But what Goku had to do in order to beat Frieza was Frieza killed Krillin, which means if the Colorado Avalanche run over Ilya Bryzgalov and the Wild are forced to play another goalie, then maybe they'll power up and beat the Avs. What? Point being, if you give a team this bad at goaltending, they'll have to be really good to overcome that. The Wild are not really good, they're just good. But for right now, is there a team that is more fun to watch in the National Hockey League than the Colorado Avalanche? Let that be the question of the night. Outsiders. So no Minnesota Wild, no Colorado Avalanche. If your team is in the playoffs right now, I don't want you to answer this question. Outsiders. I don't care who you think is going to win. Who is the most lovable team in these playoffs? Colorado's got to be up there, right? Well, that might be a good transition for this. The Columbus Blue Jackets win 4-3 in overtime over the Pittsburgh Penguins, tying the series up 1-1, and in doing so, get their first ever franchise playoff win. And Pittsburgh Penguins fans, I will get to you in a second. Blue Jackets fans, this is your time in the sun. Here's the great thing. A lot of people were saying, I think I might have even said, if the Blue Jackets lose in 5, that's fine, as long as they win a game. But now that you've got that win, you kind of want another one, don't you? What's crazy is they could have too. Blue Jackets coughed up a 3-1 lead in Game 1. They could be up 2-0 in the series right now. But if Game 1 and 2 were any indication, a 3-1 lead is basically a kiss of death. I'm much more accustomed to a 4-1 lead being the kiss of death in the playoffs, but that's another story. Because you get the first half of the game, and you got the Pittsburgh Penguins, the dominant, star-filled Pittsburgh Penguins, running the Blue Jackets show. God bless the Blue Jackets, but too much talent up front. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, got a good supporting cast. You got Kunitz in there. Letang is back, and the inexperienced Blue Jackets doing dumb things, taking dumb penalties, far away from the plate. You can't shoot yourself in the foot when you're already in a foot race with someone who's faster than you. And that's what the Blue Jackets were doing all game. And that should be curtains. And nope. Penguins fans, I'm gonna bring it back to me for a sec, but I want you to tell me if this sounds familiar. This was the whole Leaf season, or at least most of the first half, maybe even a little longer. Score a lot, get the lead, go into turtle shell, lose the lead. Or if you didn't lose the lead, you at least owed the goalie dinner after. In fact, everyone talks about the Leafs' 4-1 collapse to the Bruins in the playoffs last year. Earlier this season, the Leafs had a 4-1 lead against the Pittsburgh Penguins and lost. Leafs had a 4-1 lead. They went on to lose the game 6-5 in the shootout. Because, when all they think about is offense, boom, 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 they can score some goals. Pittsburgh Penguins, let's start the game. Let's get some goals. No problem. Have you seen our team? Have you seen it? But the telltale sign of a talented team that is not quite complete is they get the lead and cannot hold it. Score effects, my friend. Score effects. Google it. And whether it was defensive breakdowns or taking too many penalties or what have you, the Penguins can't hold the lead. You want to hang everything on Marc-Andre Fleury? I don't think you can do that here. And as an outsider looking in, the Penguins are supposed to be this masterful team, and oh, look at what Ray Shero has built. And I'm getting, it's a little old with the whole Penguins are magical thing. This was a topic of discussion in the hockey blogosphere on Twitter yesterday. I think Tyler Dello was the one heading it all. The Pittsburgh Penguins, Ray Shero has one job. I know that's simplistic, he's an NHL general manager, but really, he's got Sidney Crosby, he's got Evgeny Malkin. Build around them. Look at the Penguins' third and fourth line. Are you scared? Look at their defense. Granted, there are some injuries, but this team just feels incomplete. Now, they went through some growing pains in order to become the Stanley Cup champions, then they became that, lost some guys. Maybe this is just the growing pain on their return back to greatness. Maybe, that could be it. Or maybe there's a lot more work to do. Columbus Blue Jackets, in the meantime, you're young, you're feisty bastards, and if you get decent goaltending out of Sergei Bobrovsky, which you did in this game, you got a shot. And now the series is in Columbus for 2 games, so enjoy your playoff hockey, Columbus. Toronto's got playoff basketball back, finally, and people are losing their minds, so I can only imagine how you feel. Last but not least, the Stanley Cup Final. The St. Louis Blues win 4-3 in overtime over the Chicago Blackhawks and take a 2-0 series lead in what I'm just gonna call the Stanley Cup Final. West, you're cheating us out of amazing Stanley Cup Finals. These friggin' amazing teams are tearing each other apart, and there's gonna be nothing left. I hate you. Starts off rosy for St. Louis, 2-0 lead. Ooh. I think it was the 2-0 goal. Corey Crawford. What are you doing? He makes an amazing save and then just kind of waited for the clock to run out. What do you do? Get back in net! Now, I don't have a whole lot of athletic experience. I was good at one event. I was really good at the 100-meter dash. I could just fly, and I was always told, run your 100 meters for 110. Because wherever your eyes think the finish line is, you're wrong. Just assume you're wrong. Now, I don't know if Crawford was waiting for the buzzer on this one, but get in your net! If they take a shot and it's after the buzzer and you make the save, well, congratulations on your pride save. But better to be safe than sorry. He was a little interfered with. I just thought he could have recovered in time. But I pick on Corey Crawford because of this. So, a lot of things happen, blah, blah, blah. I'm obviously skipping over a lot. The Blues are down 3-2. Vladimir Tarasenko takes a shot, bullet of a shot, laser beam of a shot, beats Corey Crawford. And Blues fans, I don't know what you were screaming, but who's that open on the other wing? Was that Petro? I'm not sure who it was, but there was a Blue, a right-handed shot, wide open, and he was calling for the puck. And I don't know if that was a drawn-up play, but Tarasenko better thank his lucky stars that a wrist shot made it through that many bodies and scored. Because if that didn't go in, I think we'd all be talking about how bad of a decision that was this morning. But anyway, that shot goes in, and what's Crawford doing? One thing I love from this year's 24/7 leading up to the Winter Classic, I think it was Thomas Tatar had his head down, and Mike Babcock goes, "Hey, pick your head up." That's bad body language. And I look at Corey Crawford, I'm like, what do you've won the cup. Why you've won? Like, you're not some rookie that should need to be told that. How do you think that makes your teammates feel to see their starting goaltender like, whoa? Barrett Jackman scores in overtime, the roof blows off St. Louis, and that's all she wrote. 2-0 heading back to Chicago. So I guess question of the game for Blackhawks fans, was I too hard on Corey Crawford there? Because, I don't know, I thought he would have been better. Not even just as a goaltender, but just like mental lapses like that. But obviously, you know, the real question of the game, the Brent Seabrook hit. What will come of that? Obviously, I'm sure most of you have seen it by now. Brent Seabrook just torpedoes into David Backes, knocking him kind of out. Backes got up powered by nothing but rage, but he could barely stand up. First and foremost, how are the Blues going to do without him if he's out for a long period of time? He should not play next game, probably. Your brain's not a leg. You're not going to know the full damage for a bit. But I guess the topic at hand, the hit itself. Outsider looking in, zero bias, dirty. Dirty hit, left his skates, hit the head. That's a suspension. Did he target the head? I don't know. I can't get into his brain, but he hit it big time with an illegal hit. Now, Brent Seabrook expressed genuine remorse in that postgame. I felt bad for the guy, but God bless him for feeling bad. That's a suspension. The good news for Blackhawks fans, it's a phone call hearing, which means maximum of 5 games. Generally speaking, they say that playoff games are worth 2 regular season games, so I think Seabrook's gonna get 2. Put it this way, just looking at that hit, Seabrook should get at least what Aaron Rome got for hitting Nathan Horton in the Boston-Vancouver series, should he not? He needs to pay the price, which unfortunately means the Blackhawks pay the price too because Seabrook's a pretty valuable player. But this hit made me realize something. I think the St. Louis Blues nickname should just be the Swarm. Yes, that is a StarCraft reference in the same video that I made a Dragon Ball Z reference. Shut your face. I live with a girl, a real one. Sorry, I'm insecure. Anyway, the Swarm. So David Backes, now out. But every game I look at the Blues lineup and I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. Oh, and they got TJ Oshie back. Oh man, now this guy's out. Oh, they got Vladimir Zabaka back. The Blues dominate by committee. You know who the Blues' top 3 scorers were this season? Alex Steen with 62 points. TJ Oshie with 60 points, and David Backes with 57. You know where they finished in overall NHL scoring this season? Steen was tied for 36th, Oshie was tied for 44th, and Backes was tied for 56th. The Blues had one 30-goal scorer, but 4 guys who scored at least 20, and another 3 who scored at least 10. And one of the players who doesn't even fall into that category because he struggled mightily, but I think he'll come out of it, Steve Ott. And they were already a hard enough team to score on. They got Ryan Miller. Look, the Chicago Blackhawks are monsters. But I look at the Blues, and this might be Godzilla vs. Mothra. So that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends. Have a happy Easter. And brand new Panago Pizza Steve Dangle podcast going up today. They always give you the nutritional info like, oh, per 17 eggs. You know I'm eating the whole thing!